Hi guys and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. I'm Farhad. If you're new to this channel then please smash that subscribe button now, and we are into the 20s, last stage of 20 more subscribers to go for the 1k mark. So please subscribe to the channel, and it helps a small creator like me. So the film that I'm going to be discussing today, in fact it is a comparative analysis because I have just finished watching some time back, the Hindi adaptation of the original Malayalam film Drishyam 2, which is also titled Drishyam 2. So, this is going to be a comparative analysis between the Malayalam one and the Hindi one. And till there are remakes, till there are adaptations, it does give me a chance to, continue with the adaptations and its comparative analysis. So here we go. So I had watched the original Drishyam 2, the Malayalam Drishyam 2, in probably 2021, the day it was out. I remember, I think it was just about at the start of the second lockdown, and I remember watching it and I was absolutely blown away by it. Now, fun fact that only the Kannada Drishyam, which is called Drishya 2, that had a theatrical release. The Telugu one and the original Malayalam one both had a direct OTT release, which means that the Hindi Drishyam 2 becomes only the second in the Drishyam universe of the Drishyam franchise that has a theatrical release. Now, I was, quite split about how the perception of Drishyam 2, the Hindi Drishyam 2, would be. This did stem out of the fact that there were many remakes and many adaptations that were just not working at the box office, and I did have that kind of skepticism that hey, this may not work as well, though although I was pretty sure it is going to be made, considering that the first part had a huge fan base. I mean, it had a huge fan base. One reason to note though was when the first Drishyam, the Hindi Drishyam had released, there were no signs of OTT. It The only source was TV, and there was no existence of OTT at all. Now, considering the current scenario, the OTTs come into play, and so the audience, I thought, are exposed to more type of content that are doing the rounds. And so I had my red flags up, although I didn't know what to expect. Drishyam, as you know, is a very popular franchise in Hindi. It had a huge fan following. In fact, during the period of 2nd October, there were those memes circulating that Vijay Salgaonkar and his family went to Panji and, for that satsang, ate pav bhaji, then watched a film, etc., etc. So that was, a fun, so to say, memes that were doing the rounds. Now, coming back to this one thing, and by the time you're seeing this video, this film in Hindi has got a spectacular start. It has got an absolutely astounding start, and one reason for it is that many audiences are not privy to watching films with English subtitles, and the Hindi dub was not out of Drishyam 2, and that went in the film's favor, which means that this was the secret behind the remakes or the adaptations. Many people, especially in the Hindi speaking belt, do not watch films with subtitles, and so the remakes are here to stay. Although I hope that the creative decisions are taken in a better manner. So let's get to the analysis now after the little long, so to say, introduction. So Drishyam 2, the Hindi Drishyam 2, as you know, is a official adaptation of the Malayalam film Drishyam 2. It's an adaptation, it's not a remake. Just to give you a perspective, I had watched the Telugu film Drishyam 2, DRU, sorry, and that was a frame-to-frame remake, even though it was set somewhere in Andhra Pradesh, but it is a frame-to-frame remake because the director was the same. But here it is not a frame-to-frame remake. It is, in proper sense, an adaptation, and the screenplayer instantly, standing at 2 hours and 20 minutes or 140 minutes, is at least 20 to 25 minutes shorter than the original. That had me interested instantly. Now, if you watch the original film, Drishyam 2, the Malayalam one, and I know I'm catering to a large section of the audience, of my audience here, that has watched the original. Of course, they have watched the original. It is the Malayalam film, a super duper hit Malayalam film. So the build up there was very slow, and there were moments where there was mystery that was interspersed, and there were smaller hints that were interspersed in the first half, which took a while to take off before the payoff in the second half. Here, instantly, the 20 odd minutes that were cut was in the first half in the Hindi Drishyam 2. And so there was no lethargic, so to say, lethargy screenplay or lethargy presence of the unfolding of the drama that was there. Instantly so. To give you a perspective, that entire subplot of Anu's friends and whether they do know, they do not know about, the crime that has happened, which was in the original, that is not there in the Hindi version at all. That has been snipped off totally. So in a way, there's a trade-off between the length of the first half and the hints that are dropped in the first half. So the hints which are in the first half do not come along very well. When the payoff is there, that doesn't come along very well, but it does work in the film's favor because and it is because of the Hindi speaking belt, which in turn for me was a masterstroke. The Hindi speaking audience do not have that kind of and with all due respect I'm saying that, and just generalizing, I'm not pointing at anyone in particular. If there are anyone who's coming in the comments and saying, yeah, I do that, why are you categorizing everyone, this is a general statement that the Hindi speaking audience probably would, be a little more receptive towards a faster thriller. This is how I would word it, as opposed to a slow burner or a lethargic kind of a build up that is there. And so it worked in its film's favor. This was a positive in case of Drishyam 2, the Hindi one. Secondly, one thing that I really liked about the writing and the world building in the Hindi version of Drishyam 2 was the core group that was there. So all the characters that were there and the world that they belong to was right there, with the addition of a new faces, of course, but they were all intact, and I think that was a masterstroke because, and I say it because, you already had a connection with those characters, while watching the first Drishyam, the Hindi Drishyam that I'm saying. So the instant connection that was there, that you did not, it was immediately established in Drishyam 2 as well, which did help in the storytelling technique. Yeah, there are twists and turns that are there in the first half as well. But the fun really begins in the second half, and second half is, and if you haven't watched, if there are any audience that I'm catering to who hasn't watched the original Malayalam film and only are catered to watching the Hindi one, then you would be supremely entertained, because the film, especially the dying moments of the film, does catch you off guard. It most definitely does. There's no way you're going to guess how, George Kutti in the original or Vijay Salgaonkar in this case, they get out of this mess. So, in the second half, by the way, in the second film. And so that payoff that is there was quite overwhelming if you haven't watched the film. To give you a perspective, all the audience members were cheering and hooting the moment there was a reveal of how he was able to wriggle out of the situation. I was kind of immune because I knew what was coming, but then taking nothing away from the drama that was there, it was fabulously adapted in the Hindi version. Now, coming to the technical aspects, I felt that the dialogues here had that additional dry or streaky sense of humor, and that did work in the film's favor as well. Some of the confrontational scenes that were there, they were better laid out here, especially the one featuring Akshay Khanna. I think that was really well, executed as well. The music here is good. The BGM is absolutely smashing. Devi Sri Prasad has done a fabulous job here. To give you a perspective, again, there was a scene where, the tension was building, but the BGM just kicks in and it heightens the drama, as was the case in the original film as well. So I think this is a matching thing that is there in both the films. The cinematography consistently adds, tension, and it also retains the vibe of the original film, original Hindi film that was there. I won't say original, but the first Drishyam Hindi film that was there, and that I think it does retain it very well. Director Abhishek Pathak, he had huge shoes to fill. Firstly, for Jitu Joseph, who had directed the earlier one, the first film, and also the shoes of Nishikant Kamath, the late Nishikant Kamath, who's no more with us now, and he had directed the first Drishyam, the Hindi one, and he does a fabulous job in accepting that challenge and coming out with flying colors. I think the film is supremely engaging, even for someone who did watch the original. I quite enjoyed the Hindi version as well, and that I think was the victory of the director. It was a huge victory for the director. Coming to the performances, I felt one of the strongest aspects of both the Drishyam films, the Drishyam universe, that is, that I would call Malayalam as well as the Hindi one, is the supporting cast that is there. The supporting cast, for a lack of a better word, of course, the supporting cast is fabulous here, as was in the case of Drishyam 2. And some of the characters, they are new faces and they do a terrific job, Samvedna or Ashmita or Siddharth. I think they do a fabulous job here. Our beloved, in inverted commas, beloved Gaitonde, essayed by Kamlesh Sawant. I think he did a fabulous job. He was literally, throwing punches literally as well as through his dialogue delivery. Um, I think Tabu also was a prolific actor, and she is a prolific actor, and she did a fabulous job here as well. Ishita and Mrunal, the two children that are there, they have relatively lesser scope here. Especially Mrunal, I felt she was robbed of that subplot which was in the original but not here. So, but she did a good job. Both of them did a good job here. Akshay Khanna was staggeringly good. He was outstanding. He's one of the best decisions that the makers could take to essay the part of in this case his name was IG Ehlawat, and in the original it was essayed by Murli Gopi, and I think he was fabulous here. One dimension that he added to the character was the sarcasm that was there in his character. I think that made for a fun watch, and it was a brilliant performance by Akshay Khanna. I really wish to watch more of him. He's doing very little on-screen work, and if at all this video reaches him, then we wish more of Akshay Khanna to watch and review. Which brings me to Ajay Devgan. Ajay Devgan also did a fabulous job here, and he had his game face on right throughout, and I think he did a lot of talking through his eyes as usual, which did hold many secrets. And compared to Mohanlal, I felt, yeah, Mohanlal is Mohanlal. You cannot compare Ajay Devgan and Mohanlal at all. Mohanlal is far superior, far more experienced as an actor as well. But this was also a good performance. So then, where do I rate Drishyam 2 as compared to the Malayalam one? Just a notch lower than the original. I think Drishyam 2, the Malayalam one, was slightly better here, and there was very little to choose from. My differentiating factor here was the germ of the idea, and the germ of the idea came from the Malayalam film industry, and for that it deserves that much more rating from my end than the Hindi one. But the Hindi one is really good as well. So if you watched both the films, let me know your thoughts on the same. If you watched even either of the two, do let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Like the video, press that like button. It helps create that algorithm which reaches many people. Also subscribe to the channel. We are just 20 away from the 1K mark, and that is the first landmark of our young channel, and we'll be growing from there. I promised you that. Also, if you'd like to read the full reviews of Drishyam 2, both Malayalam as well as Hindi, both links are in the description box below. Follow me on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter. Instagram, by the way, I'm just 13 away from the 1K mark. So just leave a follow there, say hi, and we'll get in touch. So then I'm going to come again with another comparative analysis in tomorrow's video. And so I'll see you all again tomorrow. So then thank you so much for your love and support. See you then.